How are you guys doing? This is Ryan. Welcome back to the channel. I have a special midweek upload this week. I wanted to try a new topic I really haven't talked about much on this channel, but it's one that's been heavily on my mind, and that is early retirement. How to make passive income for early retirement. And I'm saying early retirement, but this can really apply to anyone at any age. If you're in your 50s, 60s, still working, trying to find ways to make income so you can retire. Now, I've been really fascinated with this topic over the past couple weeks, and just because I have a very strange relationship with money, I view it in a very primal way. When I go to work every day, I'm fighting for the dollars I use to feed my family and kids and save for our future. And I'm really curious to see what it's like one day when I wake up and I feel like I don't have to go fight a battle. Instead, all that hard work I did for years was now making me enough passive income to pay all my bills and take care of my family. If you're interested in early retirement, please give me an early thumbs up and let's jump into the video. Now, I always like to give our education system a very hard time, but I honestly can't remember learning about how to retire early or make passive income in school. I feel like in school, all they were telling us was get really good grades and go get a 9-to-5 job and work your whole life. But actually, this doesn't need to be the case. Now, if you guys enjoy topics like this, please make sure you subscribe to the channel to follow up the journey, and also hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads as I document my investments into small businesses and my stock portfolio and real estate and things like that. And also, before the end of the year, I'm gonna do a full net worth reveal, which I've never done over a year on this channel. And I've really been playing around with my full net worth number because I'm trying to calculate exactly how I'm gonna retire. There's actually a great community called the FIRE movement, the Financial Independence Retire Early community. And I've really been following those people a little bit closer lately as I'm trying to deploy tactics in my life and deciding what do I need to retire. So in this video, I'm gonna give you 4 strategies for making income in retirement. I'll make future videos about how to really push down your cost of living because you need to pick that number on how much money you actually need to retire. It's very important, but this video is really focusing on making income in retirement. So let's jump into the first way to generate income during retirement, and that is actually called the 4% theory. The 4% theory. What is the 4% theory? So when you're saving money for retirement, you can't just leave it all in cash. And the most popular way to keep your money appreciating is in the stock market. And what they suggest is taking your annual salary and multiplying it by 25. So for example, if you make $100,000 a year and you multiply that by 25, you have $2.5 million. Now, I don't want to lose anyone here. You don't necessarily need $100,000 to live off of. You can live off of $50,000, and if you're more of a minimalist, you can live off of much less. If you have a paid off house, you can live off of much less. I'm just using a round number. 2.5 million might seem like a lot of money for some people and not a lot of money for other people, but just follow my math here. So the stock market historically returns about 10% a year. Some years like last year, it might go up 30%, and then some years it might go down by 20-30%. But if we take a more macro look at the market, we actually see that there's a median return of approximately 10%. So only withdrawing 4% of the portfolio will actually give you income, and the portfolio can still grow because we have that additional 6%. Now, you need to be careful with inflation. They say inflation is roughly 2 to 3%. Me personally, I feel like it could be higher. So I always think maybe do like 3.5% instead, just to play things safe. But if you take 4% out of a $2.5 million portfolio, you will have $100,000 a year. And what you really should do to account for inflation, you should increase that by 2% every year. So the following year, out of your $2.5 million portfolio, you should withdraw $102,000, adding that 2%. Now, where do you actually invest this money? I would personally put this money into an ETF, an exchange traded fund, particularly like a Vanguard fund. They have very low expense ratios. And I would do something like the VTI, which is the total stock market, or VU, the top 500 companies in the United States. You're likely to get that 10% annual return at a very low expense ratio. I wouldn't go give my money to a money manager. Now, the data on the 4% theory is actually pretty good. I think it's like over 97% of portfolios have never really collapsed. It's actually a very safe way to do it, and there's good data to support it. Now, if you want to be a more aggressive, astute investor and do more in-depth analysis and try to beat the market, you could do that as well, and you could actually get 15, 20%, or even heck, in my Robinhood portfolio, I have like a 70% return this year. But that's gonna take a lot more work to find great investments, and also you're subjecting yourself to a lot more risk rather than just taking that 4% and relaxing and sipping pina coladas. You don't want to be staring at your portfolio all the time while you're in retirement. For me in retirement, I feel like I'm gonna be able to really figure out who I actually am, which sounds kind of silly, but there's actually some truth to that. But I fully expect to document my FIRE journey on this YouTube channel. We'll see if I can do it. All right, the second way to retire early, and that is actually rental income in real estate. I currently have one rental property, and next year I'm buying another house in my neighborhood, and I'm gonna rent the house that you see here. So I'll have two rental properties. For me, I always thought this was the way to retire. My grandfather actually came here in like the 1960s from the communist revolution in Cuba, and he came here dead broke. And in just over 10 years, he was able to achieve FIRE. He kept on buying real estate, real estate, real estate. He was buying more lower income Section 8 real estate and didn't FIRE in some lavish lifestyle, but he was older and had lost his entire business he built back in Cuba and was able to relax and enjoy the rest of his life through the powers of rental income and real estate. But let's be honest, rental income is not as passive as the stock market. In the stock market, you really don't have to do anything. You own all these companies and the people that are in the companies do the work. But in rental income, you actually have to collect the rent or pay someone to collect the rent with a property manager. And also you have to be very prepared for unexpected costs. If the house needs a new roof, I just put a new AC in my house in West Palm. There's a lot of costs that can pop up that you need to make sure are in your budget so you don't lose out on future income that you're expecting to live off of. It's very important. And you're dealing with people, and people can be very unpredictable. They may not pay the rent, they may damage your home. So these are all things to consider, but they do say real estate has made more millionaires in the United States than any other asset class. I think it's like 90% of them. And when I edit this video, I actually want to go back and like fact check it to make sure that's true, but I've heard that so many times now, I believe it. All right, and now the third way to create passive revenue and achieve FIRE, financial independence, retire early at a young age, and that is to create a business where you can be an absentee owner. Now, I'm a business owner and I can tell you I'm anything but absentee. So I have a lot to learn about this one. They say the entrepreneur works 80 hours a week so he doesn't have to work a 40-hour-a-week job, and I think that is so true. But it is possible to do. I can tell you I have clients who have achieved this. I know restaurateurs who have several restaurants and they have people that run them perfectly for them and they're out traveling the world and having a great time. Those are more the exception than not. Most restaurant owners seem to be living in their restaurants to make sure they're keeping it alive and making money, but it is possible. And you could look at buying a business from someone who has already set it up to become a passive income generating machine. I'm working right now, I created a company called The Ice Guys where I lease businesses ice machines. And for me, I think I can really make this a passive income making machine. I have a third-party company that's taking care of all the service. I need to make sure someone's sending out the bills and they're getting collected, and I just cash flow the lease on the ice machines. But I'm years away from making this a total passive income resource. It's actually a part of my other businesses. So for right now, I'm just very excited to grow this as an income generating machine. And with that said, all four things I'm mentioning in this video, I'm actually doing to create passive income to retire early. I'm not just doing one of them, so keep that in mind. The fourth way to retire early is probably like my favorite deep down, and that is to live off of dividend income, and particularly through dividend growth stocks. To me, this is like the holy grail in my opinion. If you can invest in great companies who've been around for a very long time that pay a nice, safe, healthy dividend, and they pay you every quarter or every month or however they're designed to pay their dividends to their shareholders. And if you can find a company that does this safely and also raises that dividend every year for you, it's kind of like the 4% theory I talked about earlier, but in this scenario, you don't ever have to even sell your stocks. You can hold these stocks forever and enjoy all those growth throughout the many years that these companies continue to grow. There's companies that have been around for 70 years that continue to raise their dividend for shareholders, like a Johnson & Johnson and 3M, companies like that. And the beautiful thing about dividends, I really think, is that they are taxed as qualified dividends. Are only taxed at 15%. So when Warren Buffett tells you that he pays less tax than his secretary, it's because he makes so much money off of dividend income. And yet he's a billionaire, he's smart enough not to take a paycheck. And I think everyone should really try to diversify their income outside their W-2 income. Personally, for me, my goal is to pay all my bills with all my side hustles and my wife's side hustles, and take the salary from the business I make most of my money from and save and invest all that. Just a goal, something I do. Because the most important thing in investing is time. The sooner you can get money working for you, the more that money's gonna compound over time, and you'll only be so much wealthier in the future. So let me know down in the comment section, are you utilizing any of these passive income generating machines to achieve financial independence at a younger age and not always have to rely on trading your labor for a wage? Time is the most finite thing we have. We live very short lives. The sooner you can reach financial independence, the more you can enjoy your life, in my opinion. And just know none of this is financial advice. This is just merely the way I see the world. And I do these videos for education and entertainment purposes and really inspiration and find like-minded people. I have found so many friends that are chasing the same dreams as I am. So I appreciate everyone that has joined along on the journey. And if you found any value in these concepts to retire early, please make sure you give this video a thumbs up. And also you can follow me over on Instagram. I put my handle here. I post there pretty much daily, just different kinds of finance things, what I'm doing in the stock market, or just goofy things, me playing around with my kids and stuff like that. So I hope you enjoyed the midweek upload, and I'll be back on Sunday for another one, and I'll see you guys in my next one.